Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're heading to Brussels. Virtually, at least. We've gathered some great stuff for you.
Yeah, sort of a mix.
Exactly. Think of it like your essential guide. We've got a travel vlog with real, on-the-ground tips and also a descriptive text covering Brussels history, culture, the landmarks.
Right.
Our mission here is simple, to get you ready, especially if it's your first trip, so you can navigate Brussels confidently, avoid the usual tourist pitfalls, and really get a feel for the place.
And what's interesting is seeing how that immediate practical vlog advice lines up with the bigger picture context from the written piece.
Mm-hmm.
It helps you understand not just what to do, but maybe why Brussels is the way it is. How its history kind of shapes things today.
Okay, let's dive right in then. First hurdle. Getting there. Seems like the airports in Brussels can be a bit, confusing.
They can be. Yeah, the vlog pointed this out really clearly, and it's crucial. There's Brussels Airport, that's BRU, and there's Brussels South Charleroi Airport, CRL.
And they're really not the same thing, are they?
Not at all. It makes a big difference to your trip.
Right. The vlogger mentioned that CRL, it's popular with budget airlines like Ryanair, Wizz Air.
Yep, the cheap fares draw you in.
It's actually about an hour outside the city center, and there's no direct train.
Exactly, so you're looking at a shuttle bus, which means extra time and extra money.
So that budget flight might not be quite as budget once you factor everything in. You really have to weigh it up, the cost versus the convenience.
Definitely. It's that classic travel dilemma. Though, the vlog did note that BRU, the main airport, also has some budget flights sometimes.
Ah!
So it pays to compare the total journey cost, flight plus transfer, before booking.
Good tip. Okay, so you've navigated the airport situation. Next up, where are you going to stay? The sources seem to agree here, location, location, location.
Absolutely. Brussels city center is pretty compact. You can walk a lot of it.
Right.
So staying centrally
Right.
really pays off. You spend less time commuting, more time actually seeing things.
And the vlog gave some specific area ideas.
It did. Mention the Grand Place, naturally, right in the thick of it. Probably the priciest option, though.
Makes sense.
Then there's Sablon, also central, but described as a bit quieter, more picturesque maybe.
Nice.
And the European Quarter was flagged as safe, and you might find some good deals there. The vlogger liked Motel 1, for instance.
Staying central isn't just about efficiency, is it? It's more about the vibe.
Totally. You get to experience the city's rhythm more, stumble upon little cafes or squares, especially in places like Sablon. It feels more, authentic.
But there's also advice on where not to stay. The vlog was pretty clear on this.
Yes, quite firm. Molenbeek was mentioned, apparently has a bit of a reputation for petty crime.
Okay.
And the area around Brussels Midi Station, Gare du Midi, particularly Kuregem,
Yeah.
the vlogger shared a negative personal experience, said it felt unsafe.
That first-hand insight is really useful, isn't it? Guidebooks don't always tell you that stuff.
Exactly. Safety and just feeling comfortable, they're just as important as seeing the sights. It's a reminder that cities have different sides, and local knowledge or recent experiences can be gold.
So, flights sorted, accommodation booked. How long do you actually need in Brussels? The vlogger's take might be a bit surprising.
Yeah, it was interesting. For a first visit, just focusing on the main sites, the suggestion was maybe only 1 or 2 days are needed.
Really? That seems quite short.
Well, the logic seemed to be that the core tourist area is quite concentrated. You can cover the big hitters relatively quickly.
Okay, I see.
And then if you do have more time, the suggestion was to use Brussels as a base. Take day trips. Bruges, Antwerp, Ghent, they're all easy train rides away.
Ah, that makes a lot of sense. It really highlights Brussels' position as a hub within Belgium.
Definitely. It's not just the destination, it's a launch pad for exploring the rest of the country too.
Okay, let's talk getting around within Brussels. Good news seems to be that walking is often your best bet, especially downtown.
For sure. Both sources really emphasize how walkable the central part is. Lets you soak it all in, find those little hidden corners you'd miss on a bus.
But for longer hops, public transport is there, and the vlog mentioned something about easy payment.
Yeah, contactless. Apparently you can just tap your bank card or phone to pay for trams and buses. Super convenient.
That is handy. No fiddling with tickets.
Right. And if you think you'll use it a lot, there's a 10-journey pass option too, which should save you some money.
Okay, now here's a potential point of confusion the vlog highlighted. The train stations. There are 3 main ones, right? And they have different names.
Yes, important heads up here. Because Brussels is bilingual French and Flemish, the stations have 2 names each.
Really?
So Brussels Central is Bruxelles Central or Brussels Central.
Okay.
Brussels South is Gare du Midi, or Zuid Station.
Got it.
And Brussels North is Gare du Nord, or Nord Station.
Wow, okay.
The advice is definitely to double-check which station your train leaves from or arrives at, and know both names to avoid confusion.
That could definitely trip you up if you weren't expecting it. Good tip.
Very easy mistake to make.
And for younger listeners, under 26 specifically, there was a great tip about train travel within Belgium.
Oh yeah, the Go Pass One. Sounds fantastic. Apparently it lets you travel anywhere in Belgium by train for just 6.4 euros per trip.
€6.40. That's an amazing value if you qualify.
Incredible deal. Really opens up exploring those other cities we mentioned without breaking the bank.
Definitely worth looking into. Okay, let's shift gears to the attractions themselves. The vlogger had an interesting point about maybe managing expectations.
Yeah, basically saying don't just blindly follow the top 10 lists in guidebooks. Some heavily hyped spots might, feel a bit underwhelming or just generic.
Tourist fatigue.
Sort of. The advice was more about going beyond that, exploring different neighborhoods, maybe asking for local tips, finding things that genuinely interest you, not just what everyone else sees.
Makes sense. What about the Brussels card for museums and stuff?
It came up. The recommendation was basically do the math. Figure out how many museums you realistically plan to visit.
Right.
If you're planning on hitting loads, it could save you money. But if you only fancy one or two, probably not worth it.
Fair enough. But even without the card, the blogger really pushed visiting at least one quirky museum.
Yeah.
Less mainstream ones.
Yeah, I like this suggestion. Gave some cool examples too. The Museum of Musical Instruments.
Oh, cool.
The Royal Museum of Army and Military History, Auto World for car fans, and the Belgian Comic Strip Museum.
That's a great mix. Shows there's more than just, say, old masters.
Exactly. It taps into different interests, different parts of Belgian culture and history. Maybe more engaging for some people than another traditional art gallery.
And views. Everyone loves a good viewpoint beyond the famous Mont des Arts.
Yes, some insider tips here. The cafeteria on the 5th floor of the Royal Library.
Okay.
And the restaurant on the 10th floor of the Museum of Musical Instruments. Apparently great views, maybe fewer crowds.
Ooh, secret viewpoints. Love those. Always good to find spots away from the main crush.
Totally. Adds a bit of discovery to it.
Right, on to a very important topic, food and drink. And here, the vlog had some strong opinions, especially on where not to eat.
Yes. Rue des Bouchers got a very firm thumbs down. Basically called out as a major tourist trap.
How so?
Pushy waiters trying to drag you in, inflated prices, and, well, apparently the food isn't great either. It's a reputation many locals would probably agree with.
Okay, good warning. How do you spot these traps generally?
The vlog laid out some classic signs. Servers practically grabbing you off the street.
Yeah.
Menus with tons of pictures translated into 10 languages.
Yeah.
Big signs shouting about tourist menus or free Wi-Fi. Red flags.
Got it. Look for places that seem less desperate for your business.
Pretty much. Genuine places usually rely on their reputation, not on hassling passersby.
Okay, what about chocolate? Obviously a must-buy in Brussels. Any tips there?
Yes. The Galerie Saint-Hubert, stunning place. Lots of famous chocolatiers.
Right, seen pictures. Beautiful arcades.
Exactly. But they get incredibly packed. So the advice was, maybe find other branches of those same top chocolatiers elsewhere in the city for a calmer shopping experience.
Smart.
Still get the quality chocolate just without the crowds, and maybe enjoy the galleries themselves with a coffee. Soak up the atmosphere that way instead.
Good plan. And waffles. We need waffle wisdom.
Absolutely. The vlog warned against generic-looking stands, the ones just advertising cheap prices or using plastic waffle models.
Okay.
And it explained the difference between the two main types. Liège waffles, they're rounder, denser, often eaten plain. And Brussels waffles, rectangular, lighter, fluffier, usually the ones loaded with toppings.
Interesting.
Actually, the vlog suggested being wary if a place is piling loads of toppings onto a Liège waffle. Might be another sign it's aimed squarely at tourists.
Good nuance. Okay, and beer. Can't go to Brussels without trying the beer.
Definitely not. It's essential. Delirium Cafe, got to mention, famous for having thousands of beers. Very touristy, yes, but the sheer choice is something else. And also, Elamore Subite, recommended for more of a traditional, historic pub vibe.
Sounds like you need to dedicate some time to beer exploration.
It's practically a cultural requirement.
Yeah.
Belgian beer is world famous for a reason. So many styles, so much history.
And beyond the big three, chocolate, fries, waffles, we should try other local dishes.
Please do. The vlog encouraged trying things like vol au vent, that's creamy chicken and puff pastry, carbonade flamande, which is a rich beef and beer stew, moule frites, mussels and fries, classic,
Hmm.
and boulet à la liégeoise meatballs in a sweet sour sauce.
Okay, now I'm hungry. Sounds delicious.
It really shows there's more depth to Belgian food than just the snacks, good as they are.
And it wasn't just Belgian food, right? The vlog mentioned Brussels' international scene, too.
Yeah, which reflects the city today. It mentioned having great ramen at a place called Takumi Tonkatsu Ramen
Nice.
and good Thai food at CM Square. So yeah, lots of options if you fancy something different. It's a real foodie city.
Okay, shifting back to practicalities for arrival and just being there. Languages. It's bilingual, French, and Flemish.
Right. But the vlog noted that day to day, you'll probably encounter French more often.
So maybe learn a few basic French phrases.
Yeah, recommended. Just bonjour or bonsoir for hello, merci for thank you. It's polite, shows a bit of effort, and usually goes down well.
Good advice anywhere, really. What else? Cash.
Bring some cash, yeah. Especially coins, why? Public toilets often require payment.
Ah, the dreaded toilet fee. Good shout. And bags.
Travel light when sightseeing. Museum lockers can be small, apparently, so don't lug massive backpacks around all day if you plan on going into places.
Makes sense. And safety, general awareness. Any specific scams mentioned?
Just the usual big city pickpocketing awareness, really. Keep your phone off tables and cafes, secure your bags, be wary of distractions.
Standard stuff.
Yeah, especially near train stations or crowded tourist spots. The vlog also suggested trying to, blend in a bit, not look like an obvious lost tourist.
Sound advice. Be aware of your surroundings.
And finally on safety, kind of linked to the accommodation point earlier,
Yeah.
know where you're going. Try not to get completely lost.
Why is that?
Well, the vlogger mentions certain areas, like around De Bruckere Station after dark, and again Molenbeek and Keurig, where nice areas can quite quickly change into ones that feel less comfortable or safe. So having a general sense of direction is helpful.
Okay, noted. So that's a lot of great practical stuff. Let's bring in the context from the descriptive text now. It really paints Brussels as this mix of old and new, right?
Absolutely. Capital of Belgium, but also, crucially, the de facto capital of the European Union. History, culture, modernity, all swirled together.
And its history goes way back.
Oh yeah. Roots in the 10th century. Grew into a major European center, influenced by powerful dynasties like the Burgundians and Habsburgs. You feel that history when you're there.
Especially, I imagine, in the Grand Place. The text raves about it.
And rightly so. The Groot Markt, as it's also called, UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Yeah.
The architecture is just stunning, mostly 17th century Flemish Baroque. The town hall is magnificent, and the King's House opposite it, that's now the Brussels City Museum. Standing there, you really sense the city's historical wealth and importance. It was the heart of civic life, trade.
Amazing. And then there's the slightly less grand, but equally famous mannequin piss.
Ah, yes, the little peeing boy statue.
Quirky.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But a real symbol of Brussels spirit, maybe a bit irreverent. It's got a long history since the 1600s, and they famously dress him up in different costumes.
He has his own wardrobe.
He does. Hundreds of outfits, it's quite something. Embodies that playful Brussels character.
And contrasting with all that history, you have the Atomium.
Right. Built for the 1958 World's Fair, Expo 58. A totally different vibe, giant iron crystal structure, symbolizes innovation, science, the modern era, offers those panoramic views too.
So it's history and modernity side by side.
Exactly, and art too. The text highlights the Royal Museums of Fine Arts, think Old Masters, Rubens,
Right.
and also the Magritte Museum, dedicated to the surrealist René Magritte. Big names, showcasing Belgium's artistic clout.
And then there's the whole EU dimension, the European quarter.
Yep, the text mentions it. All the big EU institutions are there. It underscores Brussels' modern role as this major international administrative center, kind of the political engine room of Europe.
And for downtime, palaces and parks.
Yeah, the Royal Palace is there, near Brussels Park. And other green spaces too, like Leopold Park and Cinquantenaire Park. Places to escape the buzz.
It shows the different facets of royal history, political power, but also just places for people to relax.
Precisely. And of course, the text circles back to the food highlights too.
Can't escape them.
Nope. World-class chocolate Neuhaus. Godiva mentioned by name. Those waffles again. The incredible beer culture. And frites, Belgian fries, they're all part of the Brussels identity, the text emphasizes.
They really are woven into the experience.
But definitely a big part of why people love visiting.
Okay, so wrapping up our deep dive for a first trip to Brussels, key takeaways seem to be: know your airport's BRU versus CRL is a big deal.
Crucial first step.
Choose your accommodation wisely, central, and safe is best. Maybe 1 or 2 focused days cover the absolute must-sees, but use it as a base if you have longer.
Smart planning?
Walk as much as you can, but public transport is easy with contactless. And watch out for those station names. French and Flemish.
Don't get caught out.
Think about whether the Brussels card makes sense for you, but definitely check out a unique museum beyond the main ones.
Find those hidden gems.
Food-wise, avoid Rue de Boucher. Look for quality signs for waffles and chocolate, dive into the beer scene, and try the proper Belgian dishes.
Eat well.
And generally, be aware, be safe, maybe learn a tiny bit of French, all set against this amazing backdrop of deep history and modern European significance.
It really feels like combining that practical advice with understanding the city's story makes for a much richer, smoother, and just better first visit. You go in prepared, but also appreciative.
Yeah, absolutely. So thinking about the blend of Brussels as this historic medieval center that's also the heart of modern Europe, what aspect of that duality grabs you the most? What would you want to explore further? Something to think about as you maybe plan your own Brussels adventure. Thanks for tuning in.